What them haters talking about?
What's up, family? Following an altercation early Tuesday morning in Houston, Migos rapper Takeoff was gunned down by an assailant's bullet. Ever since then, the hip-hop community has been in mourning. Some people are taking it particularly hard, obviously his family and his friends. DESIIGNER is one of those friends. Dude hopped on social media and just fell apart. He questioned, why do we do this? There is a number of reasons, family. There's a number of reasons, but I can tell you the root of all of it is self-hate. And here's what I mean. When you love yourself, you don't even put yourself in positions where you can cause that type of grief. Whether it be you're being the aggressor, or you're the one who takes a life, or putting yourself in a position where your life can be taken. See, when I got to be a certain age, I was like, yo, I got to move different. So I started moving differently. And I started treating people differently. You know, like once I learned to love myself, I actually learned to love others. And I wanted for others what I would want for myself. Now, don't get me wrong, fam. I do feel like, as in the movie A Time to Kill with Samuel Jackson, there is a time to kill. But for me, it has to make sense. It has to be a life-threatening situation where I feel like I have no other choice. Somebody has to be rolling on me or mine, and I feel like I have to use that amount of force to stop the threat. In almost all of these situations, pulling out guns was not even necessary. Taking a life was not even necessary. People getting caught up on emotional energy, and they're ruining their lives over petty disagreements and material things. Break it down to economics. You can break it down to the lack of good parenting. You can break it down to the easy accessibility of guns. There's just so many reasons that one could give. But I just look at ultimately, it all boils down, in my opinion, to self-hate. Because it's not just this one incident right here in Houston. It's that mentality, just taking a life like that, like making it so easy, like life is nothing, like boom, 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 just, you know, somebody get into an argument and instead of reasoning, trying to reason, or even saying, okay, I'm gonna give you a fair one. It's a one-on-one, or we're gonna fight it out, whatever, but we're gonna live another day. We all gonna walk away from here alive. We got it off our chest, and maybe you got a few lumps on your head or whatever, but everybody walked away alive. And none of our family members got to go to the cemetery or to the morgue to identify a body. And none of our family members have to visit us for a few decades in prison. Dude quit. He said, I'm done. DESIIGNER said, I'm done with this hip hop thing. And I think that's a bad idea. I don't think that's a good idea, because I think this hip hop thing has more to do with how you move than the music that you listen to or the music that you make. I think that it has a lot more to do with how you move, because hip hop is a microcosm of society. And there are other people that are moving the same way and they're getting murdered the same way. It's way more people who are not in hip hop who are getting murdered, but because hip hop is so closely related to the streets, then some of that activity spills over into hip hop. But there are countless people all over this country who get killed every single day, and we don't hear about it in the headlines. And it is because of how they move. It's the energy they project. It's the energy they put themselves around. Takeoff wasn't even that type of dude, you know. I'd never known Takeoff. I didn't know him personally, but I never heard anybody like attribute being like unhinged and aggressive to Takeoff's character. Never. Every time if I saw him anywhere, you know, he seemed to be a chill dude. And he still got it. But if you remove himself from that energy, then perhaps he's still here. You know, because there's just certain energy, fam. There's certain energy that's projected out there that you just don't want to put yourself around. And I think it boils down to the energy. You know, the people that you surround yourself with. I heard Deion Sanders tell his players who were in Houston to play a game, y'all not getting out of the hotel. I want y'all to stay in the hotel until further notice. Man, Deion. Deion is that dude. Man, I love Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders is a man's man, and real men appreciate Deion Sanders, while the suckers and the busters, the ones who are irresponsible, will frown on him. A man's man will be like, yeah, man, I'm glad you said it, because I've been saying the same thing. I've been thinking the same thing. You have to protect your energy. These boys got something to live for. These dudes are out here playing ball. They're in college. They got a future. It's up to them what they do with it. They can throw it away. They can go and start hanging out in spots where people ain't got a lot to lose and who act reckless. They can hang out around those kind of cats and end up being a casualty. You ain't got to necessarily be in the mix. You ain't got to start nothing. You ain't got to be the catalyst for the drama. You can just be an innocent bystander and end up being collateral damage. It is very important that you watch how you move and read the room. Those guys were arguing. The moment they started arguing, let's say you were just having to be out there or something, and some guys started arguing. Man, it's time to move around. It's time to move around, because in almost every single case where we're walking on people right now, all of the people that we're walking on right now who were murdered, in almost every single case, an argument ensued prior to their murder. Whether it was a few minutes, a few hours, a few days, a few weeks, a few months, there was an argument somewhere prior to their death, to their murder. There was an argument. And this is why it's important to try to avoid arguments. I'm talking about heated arguments that can turn physical. Because you know what you're going to do, but you don't know what the other person is going to do. There are people right now strapped up, getting ready to go to the club tonight, and in their mind, oh, I'm going to bring it. If anybody got a problem with me, I'm going to bring it to them. You know what you're going to do, but you don't know what the next guy is going to do. Designer, I'm praying for you, brother. I know it couldn't have been easy hopping on social media, sharing with the world such a private moment. I think it's important to get some type of therapy. And that's for everybody out there that might be suffering the loss of a loved one, that's finding it hard to cope. Because people grieve in different ways. So you can't tell people how to grieve. I ain't got no problem with him saying what he said on social media. Perhaps it'll touch somebody and make them change their behavior. R.I.P. Takeoff. No more talk.
What them haters talking about?
Yeah.